IELTS is the only way to success. IELTS is the only way to enter to university.
Trying to achieve your goal. On your way to that goal, you can, make changes, adjustments. You can completely change the goal, but at least you need to have something at the end of the tunnel to go for, to chase after.
Enter to university, or like you don't have future, something like this.
This girl recently went viral with Ronaldo typing her. Yeah, I just yesterday saw her on several in my what do you call it, like rec yes, recommendations. She popped up,
and I said, okay, let's check your Instagram. She said, okay. We opened, and 22 or 23 hours spent one day.
Completely shutting down all the social media. Like I deleted YouTube from my phone, and I was like, "Phew, that's it. That's enough." Just for 2 months, no social media, and you see like this jump from an 8 to a 9.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today our next podcast was the guy who recently got 9 from IELTS, and his name is Mr. Jakhongir. So how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
So can you introduce yourself? Like, who are you? What are you doing? And so on.
I feel like everybody knows my name, but I guess it's like it's a part of an introduction of yourself. So my name is Jakhongir from Uzbekistan. I've been teaching IELTS for the last, as far as I remember, like 5 years, almost 6 years. Like if there are any questions you would like to know about me, I think you can ask them right now.
Yeah, but let's talk about like childhood. Where were you born?
I was born in Bukhara, but I was raised in Russia. Yeah, like the first 2 years of my life I spent in Bukhara. Then we moved to Russia to a place called Tambov. That was the town, and I spent about like 13 years of my life there.
So you studied in the area?
Yeah.
So have you studied in Uzbek schools?
Well, I studied just about like 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. The last.
Have you seen any difference in terms of education, in terms of like?
Yeah, sure. So when I was growing up in Russia, everything was. Can I say, like, can I put it, like, the atmosphere there is much colder, and like the relationship you have with your classmates, it's a little bit worse, not as wholesome as it's here, because when I came to Uzbekistan and saw schools for the first time, like the relationship between guys, the way people talk to each other, the way they care for each other, it was completely different. And in terms of education, yeah, like in Uzbekistan, I feel like it was a little better than in Russia. But I feel like in Russia I was just in the wrong place, in the wrong school, and that's why I didn't really like it. So in comparison, Uzbekistan is much better.
Okay, as long as you lived in Russia, let's just compare like kids, teenagers there, like what they do in their free time, or do they study, something like that?
Again, I feel like I studied, I might have studied in the wrong place, but I studied there for like 9 years of my life. Yeah, 9 years of school in Russia, and the kids, they are completely different. They're
Like,
completely different.
You have friends there?
I have a few. I have a few, and yeah, they're completely different because, for example, the way people look at partying, alcohol, having relationships, it's much more relaxed. It's much more. What do we call, like they have much laid back way of living. Yeah, that's very laid back. That's very relaxed. They don't really care about their future. At least my classmates didn't really care.
Gotcha. So when you came to Uzbekistan again?
2014. It was January 2014, like right after New Year. We came back to Uzbekistan. It was like a huge culture shock.
And you graduated school and you went to university, I guess. Which university was it?
Westminster.
Westminster.
Yeah.
Was like Muhammad Ali, I guess. Like,
Yeah, Muhammad Ali Al-Shar, but
Ali,
yeah, but I failed my first year and got accepted second. So I like spent 1 more year studying math and then got accepted.
So in previous podcasts, we have talked about university with Asal, and the same question is for you as well. The question is, why you didn't apply to governmental university?
I feel like it was a lot of peer pressure as well as pressure from my parents. A lot of my family members, they graduated from state schools.
Okay.
Yeah, like in Bukhara we have Technological University. Then here in Tashkent we have Molia, Narkhos, and I have plenty of friends. I have plenty of relatives. I have plenty. My relatives have plenty of friends who also graduated from those places, and they weren't really happy with the quality of education they were getting back then. I'm sure right now it's much better because whenever I talk to my students who study in Narcos, they usually say that like the entire system has changed in the last couple of years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but overall it was more of like influence from my parents, from my relatives, from my friends, who told me that international places like Westminster, MDIST, or Turin, that they're much better.
Yeah. About university, like I studied like Tashkent State University of Economics, like Narcos, and as long as I go to university 2 months a year, and I think that's why I don't see any changes, maybe because of it. So what do you think about like as you know, we have kind of zaouchny like Cert Qatala, but do they have something in Europe, in America? Have you heard about it?
No, I was never interested in education in the U.S. or in Europe or in any other places. I would even say that I'm very much ignorant when it comes to education like system overall. I just know that some places do suck, some places like really good. That's it. That's my personal opinion, and I never really did much research honestly. So I don't think I'm. I don't think you can say much, but other than like quality, I guess there. I don't see like that much difference.
Okay, let's just ask the last question about university because we have lots of problems at university, like honestly. And the question is, like I'm a student myself. I study at university. I have lots of friends, like my age, and the problem was, I think in Uzbekistan, they don't teach what university is when you study at school. And I think they have to, like when you are 10th or 11th grade, teachers have to tell, okay, you finish school and there's like two ways: you go to university or you work or something. So I think they have to teach, okay, what university is, why you need. For example, if I want to be a lawyer, I have to go to university, yeah. But if I want to be a kind of podcaster or like I don't know, video editor, I don't have to go to university. Do you get what I mean?
I guess in Europe and in the US, like in the Western countries, they do have kind of professional advisor at school. I do think we need that, but the problem with professional advisors, even in the Western world, is that they're not always qualified for their job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they don't give you that many options, and it's not that easy. It's not that easy. But I do agree that our school teachers we would be better off knowing why we need like universities before we got accepted into them.
But I don't want to say that the problem is only with schools, like students as well. I guess in Europe, like I have heard in Europe, in America, like in the Western countries, before entering to university, they do a research. Okay, they list the things that they like, for example, like math, something like the subjects, and they choose university out of these subjects. And for example, if they have find 5 universities, they do a research again. Okay, they go to the website, they kind of do research, like how many students study there, what things do they have, opportunities there, and so on. But in Uzbekistan, it doesn't work like this. Like after school, I guess parents' pressure plays a huge role. I don't know about you, but I have some friends. They are like kind of parents pressured him, like you have to enter to university or like you don't have future, something like this. Have you heard about it?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly the same way I was brought up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, the same way. It was parents, it was relatives who keep constantly telling me that I need to get into university, and if I don't get into university in my first year, that's going to be a huge disaster, a huge disappointment. And it was. At least I felt like it was because right now everything so like
Goes well.
yeah, the tables have turned, and my life is so is getting so much better right now. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, but overall, I would say yeah, there is a lot of influence. There is a lot of peer pressure. There is a lot of influence from parents. There is a lot of influence from like outside, like friends, relatives, family. In Uzbekistan, it's like a really huge thing. Unlike I guess USA, teenagers where parents are
Okay.
more like into letting their kids do what they feel like doing.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about IELTS a little bit. Like, when you heard about IELTS, like,
In the past, like in 2014, when I just came to Uzbekistan, one of the problems was that internet wasn't really accessible.
Yeah,
It was very expensive. It wasn't affordable.
slow.
Very slow,
Yeah.
and it still is relatively slow. And I guess that was one of the reasons why people didn't really hear much about IELTS, because like the internet in Uzbekistan in 2014 wasn't really a big thing, so I didn't know much about IELTS apart from a couple of my friends taking it, getting like 7.5 and 8, and then they also told me that when they have once they get that score, when they have the score, they can get into like this
Mhm.
and this and this and this university.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they can get like 100% scholarships. It all sounded great, and I was like, if they was an aid going to get like a scholarship in Westminster, then I also have to take it. The same was with math. Everybody was studying math, and I was like, no, I also have to study math. I tried my best to do something in physics, but it didn't really work out,
Mhm.
unfortunately, or fortunately. So yeah, yeah,
What I mean is that when you started learning English, what was your main like
just
major
getting it, just getting a high score. That's it.
from
Yeah,
IELTS?
yeah. I mean, I didn't really have a goal in mind, like what I'm going to become, what I was going to become if I got like an 8. I didn't know. I just wanted an 8 for
Mm.
whatever reason. I guess again, I'm coming back to the same like word I've been using from the beginning, is peer pressure, because everybody around me was trying to get. My entire circle was made up of people who desperately wanted to get a high score.
From
Like
IELTS,
yeah,
yeah.
from just the higher the better. That's it.
So the thing is that lots of young people in Uzbekistan, like students, they are obsessed with IELTS. What do you think about? Is it good or bad? Like, what will it be after 5 years, 6 years? How you see this future?
I feel like we can say that in a way it's bad, like being obsessed with anything, but I feel like there must be like we need to draw this line. Um, Not like a line, but maybe ask a question. Look at the like Western world, like Western countries. We don't have to look far. We can look at Kazakhstan. I recently, not recently, like a year ago, I was going through some. One of my friends gave me their phones, and I opened TikTok, wanted to see like what it looks like, and I mean TikTok itself is an awful place for anyone to be. But I came across some of like Kazakhstan, content,
Mm-hmm.
and there were like some 13, 14-year-old boys and girls, and the kind of stuff they were like posting, the kind of stuff they were talking about. I feel like it wasn't really it wasn't age appropriate, to say the least.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And I was like, yeah, recently I was thinking, I don't know, somebody said it like it's better if in Uzbekistan people are obsessed with IELTS than if they were obsessed with posting, nude pictures on TikTok. So I'm saying like this is a much better obsession than that obsession that we might get otherwise, like that in Russia, for example, obsession with alcohol.
I know.
That's a common thing. In Uzbekistan, yeah, like a lot of people know what IELTS is. A lot of people like badly want it. A lot of people don't really have a reason to do that. Yeah, but overall, I feel like it's much better because it opens up so many opportunities for people other than just allowing you to become an IELTS teacher. Because for me personally, IELTS English, like really being proficient in English, meant that I can watch so much more content, like probably 10 or 20 or 30,000 times more than I would otherwise in Uzbek or Russian. Ever since I made the switch to like full switch to English content only, like on Instagram, on YouTube. I changed the way I look at things, and I've learned so much, like
Mm-hmm.
a lot, because just learning the stuff from English content, I feel like it gives you a kind of an edge, because right now, even this kind of podcast, it's not that it's still not really popular in Uzbekistan. I'm sure it's going to like catch on, in the next 2, 3, 4 years. But if you know what type of content to put out, I guess if you know what people are going to like and you see how Western podcasters do it, I feel like you can learn so much because those countries, for me personally, they seem to be 5, 10 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
So you can actually use that as leverage. So you can see, for example, what Joe Rogan talks about and talk this like probably
Dana
about the
White
same.
or
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the
something.
same stuff here in Uzbekistan. You can just copy paste it, and people will love it. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah, about English content. So I have students. I'm teachers myself. I tell my students start to watch English content. Like once you start to watch English content, you will know it. You won't watch Uzbek trash content on Instagram, on YouTube, or whatever it is.
Um, Again, it's just opening doors. Yeah, you'll be opening so many new doors for yourself to new type of content, to much better quality content. Because as far as for what I know, most of the content that I see that's viral, that's very popular, that many people like enjoy watching on YouTube, on Instagram. Whenever there is something, whenever like a podcaster or an interviewer, if they give like misleading information, something that something that's actually wrong, yeah, something that doesn't really work, a lot more people will reply. A lot more people will tell you that this is wrong because I know that misinformation travels fast, but so does correction. So whenever you try to scam people, lie to people, deceive people, not try, if you do that overall, like if people do that, it's much easier to expose that. In English, I don't know for whatever reason, in English it's much
Yeah.
easier. For example, if I sell some not really working supplements that super vitamins that can make you as strong as
Gotcha.
Hercules,
What
yeah,
you're driving at?
yeah. That I feel like people in Uzbekistan are so much easier. In Uzbek we say "harib qilmoq."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much easier to do that.
Kizormoq.
Yeah, in Uzbekistan it's so much easier because people are very naive. People are not. They are unsophisticated. It's very easy to lie to them, to deceive them, to get their money. So, but in English, it's all like most of the time that I see my like content, I know that it's fact checked. There's a lot of fact checking in Uzbek and in Russian. It doesn't really happen, especially with Russian these days.
About fact checking, like teacher Azam recently, it's not recently, I guess like 2 or 3 months ago, posted something on his Instagram page, and about fact checking, like Kunuz or some kind of news channel said that more than 40 or 30 universities are now top 1,000 universities in the world. They said, and teacher Azam did a research and some kind of Western organization did this kind of statistics, and when he find out, only 3 or 4 were accepted, not like 40 or 30.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about it?
No, no, not really. But I feel like we need more people like Teacher Azam.
Yeah.
I know that he gets a lot of hate. He is kind of sometimes like the kind of stuff he does is bachkana. For me personally, it looks bachkana. But I feel like the overall message that he is trying to get across to his audience, to people, I feel like this is overall like a positive. Yeah, it's a positive development. It's a positive development. Like yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like we need more people like him.
yeah. I tell my students like when it doesn't matter whether beginner, elementary, intermediate. I said do a research in English, no matter what you do. Here they study like IT here, and I show everything openly. For example, recently I got a new group like beginner, totally zero, and I explained why English is important in this sphere. So I did research. There is a string thing, string. It is kind of I don't know what in terms of programming, there's a string, integer, and stuff like this. We did a research in Uzbek, in Russian, and in English, and they show everything. Like in Uzbekistan, in Uzbek language, there's not enough information, and there's lots of lies, as you know. And in Russian, same. And when we did the research in English, there was like pictures, videos of it. Everything was clear, and I said, this is the reason why you have to learn English. And when I teach, I try to tell to my students like, don't study IELTS, study English. What about you?
I mean, I used to think like you when I was just getting into IELTS, like you need to, know general English better. You need to improve your English. You need to enjoy it. but it doesn't really work. It doesn't like statistically. If you look, like there are very few people who actually do it just because they take pleasure. Like very few people. So for me, it's more. I'm looking at this like more of a like a standardized test, and I try to optimize the way I teach. So I try to find ways to get my students to learn words without them knowing that they are learning.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because I know that like most of my students are like super popular. Not
Lazy.
I don't know if lazy is the right word.
Mm.
I feel like they have other purposes in life to pursue, other things to pursue. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why they don't seem to be as much focused, as much concentrated on IELTS as I would love them to be. But at the beginning, I used to think like the same way you did, like improve your English. You know, English is such a great thing. It's going to help you so much. People do buy it, they do understand it, but I don't think it's actionable and practical for most students. I hope it is. I hope it is. I haven't studied it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
haven't done my fair
No,
fair,
no, it's
fair
okay.
share
It's
of
okay.
research. So what I'm saying is just coming from that little bit of experience I've had, trying to say my students, let's say Mahsoon, you have to study IELTS, but oh no, you need to study IELTS, but before you need to study English. If you study English, your IELTS will be better. Students don't really give a thing, when you tell them that.
And about IELTS, I have a student. We recently had a talk with him in the lesson, and he said that I need to take IELTS. He's beginner or elementary. I said, why? I want to enter to university. I said, okay, but there are other certificates as well. The thing is that he didn't do a research about the university, and we did a research at the lesson. I showed them, okay, you can take Duolingo as well. You can take TOEFL. It's not only IELTS. The thing that I was pushing is this, like lots of teenagers in Uzbekistan think that the key to success is only IELTS, 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 and IELTS. There's no other certificate. There's no other stuff. Only IELTS. What do you think about it?
I feel like you're right. Yeah, there is way too much emphasis on IELTS. I think again, we need to do research on like how many universities accept IELTS versus TOEFL, IELTS versus Duolingo. Yeah, I feel like some of the students can actually be better off studying just a little bit of English and a little bit of of Duolingo test and just take Duolingo, and
Mm-hmm.
they can get admitted to the same university even if they like studied IELTS. Yeah, it's cheaper, it's quicker. Yeah.
About my student, she wanted to take IELTS. I said, why? She said, I wanted to like a governmental university, and I said, take CEFR.
Hmm.
Cheaper, like it's like $50, I guess.
Less than that.
Yeah, cheaper, easier. Take this. And she said, I don't know. Is it acceptable? This that. Like she doesn't do a research about this kind of stuffs, but she's working on it. Like I'm talking about it. Like the thing is that as I've said, lots of teenagers think that IELTS is the only way to success. IELTS is the only way to enter to university. It's the thing that I want to somehow change.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you should 100% try your best to do that. I feel like, as I said just before, there's just way too much emphasis. There is a lot of misinformation. There is a lot of, let's say it's not just misinformation. There is also a lot of useful information about IELTS. There's so many things that IELTS can, can give you access to. So I feel like, yeah, it would be great if you try and help your students find a way to do research in a productive way, so that before they like pick like which certificate they need, like which university they want, why they want that university. And I feel like we need to teach students how to, I guess, like in the first place, how to set goals.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have like one goal. It might be like three different goals, yeah, but you definitely need to have like a roadmap for the first 2 3 5 months, or for the first 2 3 years. And while you're like trying to achieve your goal, on your way to that goal, you can make changes, adjustments. You can completely change the goal, but at least you need to have something at the end of the tunnel to go for, to chase after, because most of the time the students that I teach, the students that I for example, sometimes I remember like living in an apartment, and we used to rent out an apartment with my friends, and there were a couple of students of mine
Mm-hmm.
who also stayed with us, and most of the time those people were didn't have a purpose. All they wanted is to get things done as quickly as possible, as easily as possible. Then I don't know, they wanted to go to Shisha Khona, they wanted to go to play some PlayStation, they wanted to go and play some computer
Please
games.
go.
Yeah. That's what I wanted, and I feel like it's more about right now teaching guys to do research and teaching them how to set goals and how like.
Do you teach to your students how to set goals, how to achieve?
Nah, because again, I'm doing what I'm teaching is like just standardized tests. I'm teaching them to pass the
Nothing more, nothing less.
No, just I'm teaching them to pass this test as quickly as possible, get the score they need, and just forget about IELTS, because I don't know, like it's just a lot of money and time. I do my best to show them different ways they can learn English on their own without my help.
Mm-hmm.
I really want my students to be as independent as possible, and I would love me to be just kind of a feedback provider. So, for example, let's say you know how to check your reading, listening, writing, speaking. You know how to learn vocabulary. I would love me to help you only in two aspects in your speaking and writing, because these are the only like aspects where you
Yeah, you need
put out.
help.
Yeah, it's like
in listening,
output.
reading, you
Yeah,
can
it's
read
output.
yourself. Okay.
Yeah, so you're putting things out, and I guess only in those areas I might be of some help, in my opinion. Not of some help, but that these are the areas where I can give you most help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not in reading and listening, because those are a lot about vocabulary, but in speaking and writing, I can correct a few things in your pronunciation. I can fix your grammatical issues in your writing. I can tell you, it would be better, Abdulaziz, if you stop writing this word in your introduction, and every time you write it or you rewrite it, I will tell you what's wrong and what's not wrong, and yeah.
Okay. About pronunciation. So, as you know, in Tashkent, in Uzbekistan, we have lots of learning centers, as far as you know. Lots of people come to me from another learning center, and I show them a phonetic symbol. I guess you know what it is. They don't know it.
Talking about that, I don't remember what it's called. It's like transcript or something.
Yeah, transcript. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really teach that, because personally,
No, you teach IELTS, and it's
yeah,
you don't.
yeah, but even at my level, I still have no idea how transcripts work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I look at them. I mechanically know how to pronounce, like when they have A and I know it's I.
It is like
Yeah.
Shen. Yeah.
Yeah. When you have this symbol, I have no, it's ash probably. Yeah.
Shen.
Yeah, I know it's share, but I never teach. I actually, whenever I teach them how to pronounce words, I just, for example, the word unique. Yeah, I write it unique, yes, and
Q.
yeah, and I just write at the end, like Russian version, unique, with Russian letters. Yeah, I try to keep it as simple as possible. I tell my students you don't have to know transcript. I feel like it's better if you're aiming at IELTS, you don't need to know that, because it takes a lot of energy, time, patience. It's a lot of stress as well. So I do my best to instead focus on just
On
more
IELTS.
practical, on practical things, like for example learning vocabulary in an efficient way. That's usually the focus of my classes. But do we need to teach that? I don't know. I watch a lot of Steve Kaufman content. He is a polyglot. He knows a lot of languages. He's like 60 or 70 years old, and he's so experienced in language learning. He knows, as far as I remember, he knows about 20 languages.
Okay.
Yeah, and he does know how to learn languages. And he says that learning grammar, learning transcript it takes away so much time. He says like it's better to make like this entire journey a little bit more interesting and fun, and better make it simpler. And for me, transcripts for me it will just take way too much time. The same about grammar. It takes way too much time, but return on investment, like every minute I spend teaching grammar, I can give students like 10% of their money value. But every minute I spend teaching reading or listening or writing or speaking, I can give them not 10 but 20 or 30 or 40 or 50% of that value that they're giving
Okay.
for the money they're paying.
I got you. I got you. About like lots of students, they take 5.5 from IELTS, and after getting to university, they just forget everything about English. What are your thoughts about it?
As long as they don't need it, like it's better. They better do it this way. Yeah, yeah. Once again, like getting obsessed with, being obsessed with getting 7 plus is not healthy as long as you don't have a particular goal in mind. Like
After 7.5.
yeah, for example, let's say 7 plus can give you scholarships, or 7 plus can give you, I don't know, that opportunity to work online and make money. Yeah, you can be a teacher. But other than that, I feel like no, it's more like just a waste of time.
So you've been teaching for
Over 5 years, almost 6 years.
Uzbekistan.
Yes, in Uzbekistan only.
Okay, can you describe the education system here? How do you rate in the scale of 1 to 10? Like
In
not
Tashkent.
Yeah, not in your language center, but overall in learning centers, English, maths.
I mean, I will include mine too. Like, if we rate it 1 out of 10, if I give it a score 1 out of 10, I'll feel like it's 5 out of 10. I'm sure centers can do better. I am from Bukhara. In Bukhara, like centers are, and teachers overall, generally, they are super pooper great, really good at their job. They can actually also be better.
What about Bukhara and Tashkent?
Like if we compare, Bukhara is probably 3-4 times better.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Because for example, in Tashkent, the typical learning center offers 1 hour and 30 minutes for every class. In Bukhara, we have every day, not like every other day. We have classes every day for 2 hours. That's why I think there are not many, or I feel like there are not any Tashkent centers in Bukhara, like any branches, like any brands from
What
here.
about Thompson? I guess Thompson has.
It's in Navai. It's Navai.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Navai is different. Bukhara, yeah, but Bukhara is more of like a hardcore place. So if you want to set up your own center, like the return on investment is much lower. It's much, 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 much lower.
Do teachers hit students there or no?
No, I feel like no, no, no. It's a myth.
They won't?
No.
Because I have heard something about it.
It might happen somewhere, like in like villages, maybe, yeah, in regions,
But not in city.
but not in the city. No, I mean it's not okay. I mean, what's the point? What are you trying to achieve? I feel like teachers understand that it's not going to get them anywhere. That's why they don't beat, but they might scold you for not doing your homework. They might punish you, not physically, but just verbally. Yeah, reprimanding you in front of the class. That's that. But it's like at most.
So you scale like 5, yep.
In Tashkent, yeah, it's awful.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Because of what?
Because of like the amount of time you get to spend with each and every single student. Plus, it's very expensive. Overall, like paying 800,000 sums for 1.5 an hour, yeah, I feel like it's an overkill. For 1.5 an hour, you probably need to be paying much less, and you need to be. I feel like students need to be working themselves a lot. And teachers' purpose is usually, it must be, in my opinion, teachers' purpose must be like to give a little bit of inspiration, give students a little bit of entertainment, so that students have the energy to stay throughout the entire class with you, yeah, and plus go out of that class with something in their mind. Because I have teachers who say like, I'm here like to teach you only. I'm here to give you knowledge, but it doesn't work that way. Because the best teachers I've had in my life were not just teaching in the old traditional way. They were teaching using different like methods, like in more of like a stand-up comedy way.
Sarcasm.
Yeah. They were like very funny, uh, really good sense of humor, and I loved it. But unfortunately, most teachers right now, and sometimes I myself, we just focus on teaching. That's it, just teaching. But I feel like we shouldn't be just teaching. Yeah, our job is kind of, well, yeah,
Inspiring.
yeah, teaching is must be like the way you teach must always be varied. You need to include a lot of different stuff. In my opinion, it's my personal opinion, to make it more interesting. By making it more interesting, you make it more productive, and yeah.
We were talking about English stuff. Like here, I work as a teacher, and the thing is that the lesson is 2 hours, and as long as students stay here like for 9 hours, after class we play kind of games in English. We like there's a cuisine. We eat and we buy things in English, stuff like this. Like, I know in lots of learning centers there's 1.5 hour lesson, and after lesson do whatever you want. They don't care. But here the system is something different. Students come at 9, they go to their like programming lesson, and after that English lesson, like 4 hours overall. And after the lesson, the thing is that we may do kind of karaoke, or there's sport zone like volleyball, basketball, or there's a cinema. Like what I'm trying to do here is that I want to make an English sphere here for students, and like this place has a potential to do this kind of things, I guess, because it has lots of opportunities here. And as far as I know, like 2 weeks ago, a guy, like a businessman from Pakistan, came. We had a talk in English. He asked me some questions. Lots of people from abroad come here, like businessmen or people who work in governmental jobs. They come to the collaboration, and I tell the students, okay, if you see this kind of people, or like, don't be shy, just speak. What about you?
Same. I mean, if they find somebody, I would definitely encourage them. I don't talk about it again a lot because again, I'm more into just standardization, just standard test, optimize, streamline the process, make it quick and easy. But yeah, in the past, I would tell my students if there is an opportunity to find and to talk to a native, just go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just do it.
yeah, just do it because I know you're going to feel anxious, nervous. You might think that they might laugh at your English, but
Nobody cares.
yeah, but yeah, based on my experience, like natives are usually very supportive. They really like when you try to
Say your
speak.
language.
Yeah, their language. It might be Russian, it might be Uzbek, it might be English. Like every time I see somebody like Russian trying to say something in Uzbek, I don't know. I
You
like
like
it.
it.
Yeah, I'm not going to critique that person. Make fun of them. No, I mean we can share a few giggles. If they mispronounce words.
But
But
it's okay.
but it's completely fine. Yeah, I'm not doing that out of spite. I'm not doing that because I want to again criticize. No, it's just positive vibes. A lot of fun. So
So you have taught general English as well, or only IELTS?
I've taught for some time general English too.
And I mean, that sphere, you didn't teach IELTS. I mean, that sphere where you focus on speaking, like pronunciation or grammar, because as far as I know, as lots of IELTS teachers, they don't teach this kind of thing. Their focus is only IELTS.
No, they
Reading,
do.
listening, writing.
No. When it comes to reading, listening, writing, you break it down into like more parts. You break down speaking into like grammar, pronunciation, coherence, cohesion, fluency, coherence, then lexical resource. Then you have this and that. There are many components. You teach that. It's just all wrapped as IELTS. It's all right now packaged as IELTS, and people sometimes say there's difference between general English and IELTS, but overall they're almost the same things, just in IELTS. Um, Usually you're expected to know things like present simple, past simple, future simple. That's why I don't teach that. But if I see a problem, like yesterday I was checking essays, and my students, there was a map in 2010 and map in 2015, but they were saying uh, is happened, or it happens, or it destroys. Yeah, like they were using everything in present simple, or they were not using passive voice correctly. And I teach them. I say,
Like you have to
"Abdulaziz,
do the kind of situation
yeah,
if
like
they don't understand.
general English and IELTS in a way almost the same things, and dividing them, like separating them into two different camps, like saying I'm teaching general English and IELTS, a little bit wrong because in IELTS there are components of general English, and in general English you do
What I
try to get
yeah.
students to speak the same
Reading,
way. Yeah, do
listening,
reading, listening, the same way I do in IELTS. Like they're both the same, just the end goal is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you're just trying to get guys to speak. Here I'm trying to get guys to speak at a certain level or above that level.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about consistency. I When I did the research about you on your channel, I couldn't find your Instagram at that time. Now you have. Uh, I did research on your Telegram channel, and I saw what consistency is in you. Like in terms of writing, in terms of speaking, I saw a video like you were doing a speaking with your students or your friend. I don't know, Humayun, I guess his name was.
Uh-huh.
Like it's nearly 1 a.m. night and you're doing speaking, you're sleepy and you're posting it
That
to your channel and I
that
said,
was
oh, okay, this is what consistency is. And in terms of writing, you did writing and after 3 months you replied to this writing and I said, okay, my writing has changed this component. And I think it really helped. And what I think is that even to my students, I say when they start learning English, open a channel, do a blog. Why? Because it will be easier to
keep track of your
hold, yeah,
progress.
to hold the sphere and keep track on your like progress. For example, 3 months you're learning English, and you look at your first post. Okay, I did this mistake. Now I don't have it. Something like this. So, do you kind of force your students to open kind of blog?
Encourage, yeah, I do encourage them, but I've recently learned that you can actually do that. When I visited my friends Muhammad Ali and Alisher, the first time I visited them, and I saw Muhammad Ali. He said that he asks his students to open a Telegram channel so that they can post their essays and their homework and everything there. And I was like, that's a good idea. So you're the second or the third person who actually teaches students to do
I
that.
have watched it to the like the Four Niners podcast in English.
Mhm.
I have watched and his method. Like he said, I think it was for Niners or he was Alisher. I can't remember, but he said that we force our like students to open their channel, like Telegram channel, to their own blog because of this. That I said, okay, good life hack. I'll do it. About the mistakes, for example, in CT there are lots of students are lazy, as far as you know. Then in Bukhara, what do you do with lazy students?
There's nothing you can do. There's like recently somebody asked me this question yesterday, a few days ago. You tell them once, then they don't do it. Let's say they didn't do their homework. You tell them, Abdulaziz, you didn't do your homework. Like, what's up? What's the
What's
problem?
happening?
What's the matter? And you talk and like, Jakhongir, okay, I had a few exams and things. So next time I'll do it. So next time rolls around, they again don't do their homework, and you decide to talk to them like privately. That's what I do. I talk to them like Abdulaziz, one on one. Like Abdulaziz, what's the problem? Let's put it this way: you haven't done your homework this time. You promised me to do it next time, but you haven't done it again. Why don't you stay after the class, complete the homework, then you go home? So you make them stay after the class. They complete the homework. You're happy. They're happy. And next time rolls around, and once again this happens. But you can't repeatedly over and over again make them stay after the class, because it takes away your energy, takes away their energy. And then I usually sit down and have like a quick chat with them, like ask him, do they like what their purpose is,
Do you
what they
really need
want.
it? Do you
Yeah,
really want it?
yeah, because most of the time, what happens is like I find out that their parents just ask them to study
Yeah,
IELTS,
yeah.
but they themselves don't really want it. And then we try to, adjust whatever we're doing during classes. At least I try to adjust the way I approach teaching them, not like the entire class. So yeah, like first time I tell them, second time they stay, third time we talk to them privately, and the fourth time I usually either say goodbye to them, or I say like, I don't, I'm not gonna say anything anymore any longer. If you, Abdulaziz, don't want to study, if you're okay with the money you're spending on this course, if you're okay with the time you're spending
You'll
here,
just skip.
yeah, I will contact the parents, tell them, and the rest is like not my business anymore.
Recently, like as far as I said here, we like after lesson they stay here, like for 9 hours, and we have talk with each other. Like we have kind of lunch with my students. It happens we play volleyball together. Um, I said I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, lots of students, I told them to watch a video, but they didn't. And they said, I didn't have time. I'm this, I'm that. I said, okay, let's check your Instagram. How many hours have you spent? Like 2 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes. I said, okay, why you didn't watch at this time? I said, I was working, I was just scrolling. Before bed, I just watched. It's this, it's that. Let me tell you one funny story. Story. When I was working at the learning center, I had a student, and they used to come on Sundays as well. Like we had kind of speaking, something like this, with my students. Uh, but I also gave them homework for Sundays, and they didn't do. And I said, okay, let's check your Instagram. She said, okay. We opened, and 22 or 23 hours spent one day. I was just shocked. I was just shocked. And she was saying, no, it's glitching. It's not like this. It's that. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Like, who knows? Can you imagine? 22 hours out of
I
24.
would, yeah, I would expect it. I would expect it to be like probably it. Yeah, yeah. She kept it probably the phone open, the screen open for some time. But anyway, even if it wasn't 20 hours, even if it's like 10 hours, it's a lot. Even if it's 4 hours, it's a lot. Like for me personally, at this point, spending 4 hours on Instagram is okay because I post stories and like posting stories takes a lot of time.
It
Yeah.
depends on, no, in terms of students, it depends on what you watch on social media, I guess.
Whatever, like in 99% of cases, 99% of cases, what they watch, boys watch girls, girls watch some funny content. That's what I bet. Yeah,
It's the truth. It's the truth.
yeah, it's
guys.
truth. Like it's, yeah, it is what it is because like most of my friends' Instagram, when I open it, it's usually girls in
Yeah.
bikinis. For girls, it's usually just funny content like that, but it's just funny content that they, you know, gives them that like little bit of cheap dopamine. They love it. They watch it and keep watching it. They look at like they watch other girls doing nails, doing makeup, and
Yeah.
it's awful, yeah. But for me personally, again, like spending that much time usually means I work a lot. I no longer just mindlessly scroll through my feed because it's no longer interesting at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Maybe I got my, you know, fair share of you know, that mindless zombie scrolling on Instagram, like in the last 3, 4, 5 years.
Addicted to it.
Yeah, because for about like 2 years, I was completely out of social media, like the Instagram, YouTube, nothing.
Only
YouTube,
Telegram.
YouTube, yeah, Telegram and YouTube. But even after like I got an 8 the second time, and I wanted to get an 8.5, like before getting a 9. I knew that I need to do something, and one of the like steps was completely shutting down all the social media. Like I deleted YouTube from my phone, and I was like, "Phew, that's it. That's enough." Yeah, and after that, when I came back to social media, I was disappointed. I don't think it's something unusual, surprising.
From the content you watched.
Yeah, yeah, it's bachkana. It's bachkana content. 99% of it, there is no value in it. I do understand that we need people who put out entertaining content because yeah, we need them from time to time. It's kind of what we call like relaxation. It's one way to relax for people. But 90% of content, especially of Uzbek, like in English, there's more of it, like that Bachkana content, you know, that's completely out of common sense content. But in Uzbek, I don't know, it just stands out so much because whenever I want to find something useful in Uzbek, it's impossible. Most of the time, I see just, you know, this girl recently went viral with Ronaldo
Oh
typing
my
her.
God.
Yeah, I just yesterday saw her on several like in my what do you call it, like rec yes, recommendations. She popped up. She was there, and I was like, really, people? Yeah, people will push her. People will definitely push her to be even more famous than she currently is. Is it a good or bad thing? No, it's not for me to judge. But is there
Just don't
some?
care.
No, no. It's like I do know that there is something more valuable than we can put out, and I myself working in it, and like this podcast is one of the things we can do. I would really like to put out like much more useful content in the future on YouTube and Instagram. Hopefully, opening my separate Instagram account, and we'll see how it will go. Hopefully it will go like really well, and it will give people taste of what
High quality content is
no, not high quality, but
useful.
useful content. Yeah, I don't really care if it's high quality, but it would be great if it's high quality because that means it will attract more people. Yeah, I do understand that you need to be not just putting out useful stuff, but also something interesting at at the same time. It must be up to all of the standards.
Yeah, the thing why I opened this social media is that, as far as I know, lots of children, kids in Uzbekistan are addicted to social media. I think you know or not. For example, I know lots of young, like they're 3 years old, 4 years old. They spend like 5 hours, 6 hours with telephones, and they spend only 30 minutes with their parents. And what I mean is that their parents even don't control what they are watching.
Yeah, that's a problem, and I feel like I would love to be a parent. I'm really looking forward to the day I become a dad. I would, yeah. I
You're not
can't
married
wait.
yet?
No, no, not. But I'm looking forward to the day I feel like I would be a really great dad because, um, we have this idea of role model. I have this idea of reverse role model, which basically means you need to look at other people and know what kinds of stupid things you shouldn't do. Yeah, from role models, you learn what to do. From reverse role models, you learn what not to do. Yeah. And I guess even if you just don't do that amount of stupid things that other people do, there's going to be so much more progress in your life. Like for me personally, it was just giving up on social media just for 2 months, no social media, and you see like this jump from an 8 to a 9, and I was like, that's great, that's great. So I feel like we need to find a way to get parents involved in their like children upbringing. For me personally, that mindless scrolling on social media was an escape from the from all of the problems I had.
Mm.
Yeah, because it gives you dopamine, and usually when I can talk like with you, Abdulaziz, I'm having this conversation. We're not using a phone because we're both interested, we're both invested.
Yeah.
But when you talk to parents, parents are not usually invested. Parents think that your problems are way too trivial, way too
Easy,
small.
yeah, simple.
Yeah, that's what parents usually think, which in my opinion is completely it's not what they should be doing. It's not what they're supposed to be doing. I guess you need to talk more to your kids. You need to know them better. There are things, for example, you said you should control, supervise the type of content they watch. I think you should, but also you shouldn't be doing it like 100% of the time. You should also let kids, you should give them that free reign so that they can themselves explore and see what type of content is like indeed useful for them. And then I guess it's just all about research, but you need to get involved. And most of the time, teacher or students spend time, I guess, on Instagram. Those students who have parents and families, it's usually because parents are not really interested. Usually, not really interested. I do understand we have commitments like work.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy, to juggle everything. But I feel like children, most people who I know who have children always tell me this is the most important thing in their life. And I'm sure it's going to be the same with me, that children will be the most important thing in my life too. And that's why I'm right now studying, stuff about raising kids, how to talk to them. Yeah, family. Yeah, I'm trying my best because I do understand it will be an integral part of my life at some point. So I guess it's a lot about parents' involvement. They don't really engaged in their children's lives.
About marriage, like, do we have to study something before getting married or what? Like in Uzbekistan, we don't have like you have to read this book before getting married or something like this.
Yeah, my parents they like this sometimes say, nobody taught us, like why should we teach you? No, something along those lines. I know I don't buy it. I feel like my parents should have taught me like how to, for example, maybe my mom and dad should have told me how to treat women, how to treat girls. Yeah, when, for example, you go out on it, you're going out on a date, should you see her off to her home? Should you take her to this place? Should you say this? I feel like that would have been so much easier because most of the stuff I had to discover on my own through a lot of trials and errors, like a lot of errors.
You kind of learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, you learn it, but I feel like you don't have to make mistakes in some cases. In some cases, it's better if you make a mistake and learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, it's better if you not make that mistake. Yeah, like embarrassing yourself in front of a girlfriend is not the best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but asking like a wrong question that she will correct you and say like you shouldn't be asking this or you shouldn't be doing that or you shouldn't be taking me out to this place. Yeah, it's fine. But again, there are a few things that could have been taught by my parents that they didn't, that I hope I will myself to my kids.
About marriage stuff in Uzbekistan, you know how it is. So you want to do the same or change something?
First of all, I'm not going to spend a single penny. I'm joking. I'm not going to spend a lot of money. My brother, elder brother, recently got married, and yeah, they spend like around a lot of money. They
Typical
spend,
Uzbek wedding day.
yeah, typical Uzbek. Yeah, typical Uzbek wedding day. I didn't like it. I would love it to be kind of smaller, like a smaller scale.
Smaller circle.
Yeah, smaller circle, better food. But I would really appreciate better music. I don't want to be dressed as formally as people are in typical weddings because I told my parents that I'm going to finance it myself. I'm not going to take a single penny from my parents because I know how it's going to turn out. If you take money from them, it means they will probably have a word in your wedding. I'm not saying I'm disrespecting my parents. No, no. I mean, I will definitely listen to them. There will be a few customs and traditions we will have to make happen.
There's no way without it.
Yeah, but the wedding day itself, the wedding night itself, I would love it to make it special. I would love to make it something that will be different from what other people do, and all the money that I save. I don't know if it will be kind of traveling, but I also want to kind of donate a little bit of my money of that we could have spent on the wedding. Let's say we have 10K, and I don't want to spend the entire 10K on the thing. Let's say I will spend like 5K on this, 2K on my travel, on traveling, and like the rest 3K I will spend it on some charitable causes. Hopefully again, we people we make we change our minds, opinions, and that's what like a perfect wedding would probably be for me.
By the meaning, wedding day is the special day for husband and wife, not for like others. I mean,
I agree, but at the same time,
no, like
we have this
parents, yeah, parents, but except lots of like grand someone. I guess like typical Uzbek family.
like
There are
extended
people-
family
yeah,
members.
very
We'll
extended
see.
family.
We'll see. I would love it to be again. I would love to celebrate it. Have it like it was a smaller circle.
When?
But we'll see.
Probably next year.
Hope not next year. I'm looking at anywhere between 2027, 28.
How old are you now?
25.
25. Won't be.
I'll be 28. 29, 28.
Okay, good. So, do you have a car or
No, I don't have a car. I don't have a flat. Nothing. So it's going to take some time
Time.
before I get all of that.
do you want to say at the end for teachers, for students who wants to improve their IELTS?
Which camera?
That's one.
Just keep studying, keep working. If there are any questions, you have my socials. I hope Abdulaziz will link them below.
Of course,
Yeah, leave the links below. Leave your comments. You can direct me. You can direct message me on Instagram. You can leave your comments on my Telegram channels. I try my best to conduct free classes on my channel as often as possible. So, yeah, just keep studying. If there are any questions, ask them. And I can't say that everything is going to be okay, but just stay hard. Guys, that's what I understood.
Like David Goggins, stay hard.
But that's literally what you need to be guys doing. Stay hard. I don't think everything is going to be okay, but I hope it will.
So, I guess we had a brilliant talk with you. I really appreciate that.
I hope.
It means a lot to me.
Same.
So guys, I guess it's the end of our podcast. Hit that subscribe button and comment below who you want to see next.
See ya.
Okay, bye guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. How it feels now? How it feels now.
My ears.